Welcome back my YouTube channel Old Car Stories. Today, we're diving into one of the most legendary American muscle cars of all time. This car, Plymouth Barracuda, 1970 United States, a car that roared through the golden era of horsepower and left its mark on automotive history. The 1970 Barracuda was more than just a redesign. It was a rebirth. After years of competing in the shadow of Ford's Mustang and Chevrolet's Camaro, Plymouth came back swinging. The third generation of the Barracuda was a bold departure from its earlier form. It now shared the new Chrysler E-Body platform with the Dodge Challenger, and it finally had the size and muscle to play with the big boys. Unlike the previous compact versions, the 1970 Barracuda was wider and lower, giving it a meaner stance. Designers took advantage of this with sharp lines, aggressive curves, and a wide grille that looked like it was ready to eat up the road. The fastback design was gone, replaced by a more traditional coupe profile. But that didn't make it boring. In fact, it made it better. Under the hood, the options were where the real excitement began. Buyers could choose from a range of engines, starting with a modest 225 cubic inch slant six. But most people didn't come for modesty. They came for muscle. And Plymouth delivered, offering 318, 340, 383, and 440 cubic inch V8s. And then there was the legend itself, the 426 HEMI. The 426 HEMI engine transformed the Barracuda into a true street beast. Rated at 425 horsepower, it was built for speed and sounded like thunder. Known for its hemispherical combustion chambers, the HEMI was more than a powerful engine. It was an engineering masterpiece. On the road or the drag strip, a HEMI Cuda was nearly unbeatable. There was also a version called the Cuda, short for Barracuda, which became the high-performance variant. While the base Barracuda offered performance with style, the Cuda took things a step further with upgraded suspension, performance tuning, and more aggressive trim. If you saw one coming, you knew it meant business. Plymouth didn't just stop at power. The 1970 Barracuda was offered in vibrant, unforgettable colors. Names like Plum Crazy, Lemon Twist, and Vitamin C Orange were more than paint. They were statements. It was the age of loud cars and louder personalities, and the Barracuda fit right in. Inside, the Barracuda combined comfort with purpose. Bucket seats, a sporty dash, and a rally-style instrument cluster gave drivers a cockpit feel. Everything was built to make you feel like you were driving something special. And with the optional pistol grip shifter, it even felt like you were gearing up for battle. The car came in several body styles, including hardtop and convertible. The convertible version was particularly eye-catching, offering open-top muscle in a rare and desirable package. Today, finding a well-kept convertible from 1970 is like striking gold for collectors. What set the Barracuda apart wasn't just its specs, it was the attitude. It was a car for drivers who wanted to stand out, who wanted something different from the usual muscle car lineup. And although it shared some parts with the Challenger, the Barracuda had its own soul. Production numbers were relatively low compared to some competitors, especially for the 426 HEMI models. That rarity, combined with raw performance, makes the 1970 HEMI Cuda one of the most valuable and sought-after muscle cars in the world today. At auctions, they fetch prices well into the six-figure range, and for good reason. This was a time when car companies weren't held back by electronics and emissions restrictions. Engineers had the freedom to build for passion, and you can feel that every time you turn the key in a Barracuda. It wasn't just transportation, it was emotion on wheels. Unfortunately, the muscle car era began to fade as the 1970s went on. Rising insurance costs, stricter regulations, and changing tastes meant cars like the Barracuda had a short but bright lifespan. Production of the Barracuda ended in 1974, and Plymouth as a brand would disappear just a few decades later. Still, the legacy of the 1970 Barracuda remains. It's featured in countless movies, magazines, and collector garages. It represents a perfect blend of styling, power, and rebellion. A true expression of American muscle in its purest form. Even today, when one rumbles past at a car show or on the street, it draws a crowd. People young and old stop to admire it. There's something about the shape, the sound, and the history that captivates anyone who loves cars. Restoring a 1970 Barracuda is no small task, but those who do it say it's worth every penny. Parts can be hard to find, especially original trim and engine components. But the reward is owning a piece of automotive legend. If you ever get a chance to sit in one, or better yet, drive one, take it. The 1970 Plymouth Barracuda isn't just a car. It's a time capsule from an era when American manufacturers were pushing the limits and building cars that would never be forgotten. Thanks for watching Old Car Stories. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane with the 1970 Plymouth Barracuda, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment with your favorite classic car. Until next time, keep the wheels turning and the stories alive.